Hey, church, this month's book recommendation is John Piper's Don't Waste Your Life. Piper's burden in this book is to help the reader be able to come to the end of their life not having wasted it. You see, the American dream beckons us to waste our lives on trivial diversions, caught up pursuing things like quote unquote success, comfort, and pleasure above all else. This book actually originated from a message that John Piper gave at a youth conference in Tennessee, quite a famous message of his, actually. And so this book is first and foremost targeted at young people who have their whole lives in front of them. How will they live their lives? But of course, many people, beyond just those who are young, have read this book and found it challenging and helpful. At a rather famous point of the message, John Piper raises the question of what sort of life is a tragedy. And in fact, you can go and search John Piper seashells and you can find the video of this exact moment of the message. First, he raises the lives of two missionaries that his church had supported, these two elderly women around the age of 80 who had dedicated their lives to Christ's service, and they went out as missionaries at this late point in life to the country of Cameroon to serve Christ there. But while they're there, the brakes in their car broke and they went off a cliff and died instantly. John Piper asks, is that a tragedy? Is living your life, spending your life literally for Christ, and at the end dying in his service, is that a tragedy? Of course, he says no. And then at this famous point in the sermon, he pulls out a Reader's Digest and he says, let me tell you of what a true tragedy is. And instead, he reads the account of a couple in their 50s who retired early and were able to live in Florida and spend the rest of their life playing softball and collecting seashells on the shore. And he says, that's the American dream we have in view, to be able to retire early and live our lives spending it on ourselves. That's a tragedy. That is a wasted life. That at the end of the day, standing before Christ, being able to give an account for our lives, to simply hold up our collection of seashells. Piper's plea is for readers of his book to avoid the dangers of that sort of wasted life, to avoid the beckoning call of the American dream. Instead, Piper wants to point us to the scriptures that call us to live lives that matter for eternity, even if they involve great sacrifice in so doing. Piper calls us to live our lives with a single, unifying, all-embracing, all-transforming passion, namely a passion for the glory of God. And we glorify God by enjoying Him and by displaying His supreme excellency, by making much of Him in all spheres of our lives. And the thing is, when we live lives to glorify God, it also means our own highest joy. As Piper argues, quote, now we see in creating us for His glory, He is creating us for our highest joy. And why is that? Well, as Piper famously says, God is most glorified in us when we are most satisfied in Him. And so this is a great book, particularly for young people, if you're a teenager or someone even in your 20s, but really a book for anyone of all ages. So again, I encourage you to pick up a copy and maybe grab someone else in the church to read along with you.